Emergency broadcast. Emergency broadcast.
Hello, Mata Nui. This is Palan from Le-Koro, and, sorry for the hurried tone on my end, but, actually, you know what, let's get to submissions first, and then I'll explain why, the hurried tone. So first off, let me apologize because I missed the submission from last week, so, the image should be appearing right now. It's that, Matoran was able to take an image of the raid on the hive of New Irama. So, I think the image should be appearing now. I think we fixed the bugs with the system from last week, so it should be showing up a little bit better. So thank you to that Matoran for that image. So next we have Valik's report. And I'll actually use that one first, since I feel like his unsettling tale will do well to set the mood for that which I have to tell you all very soon. Kofo Jagas. Why did it have to be Kofo Jagas? So apparently there was a lightstone shortage in Le-Koro since I was last here, which means it's very, very dark in these tunnels. I don't work well in the dark, confined places. And sure, I had my spare lightstone handy, but I still ran into several walls, almost fell to my death 3 separate times, and then there was Mineshaft E. For those of you who don't know, like myself before I entered it, Mineshaft E is an abandoned section of the mines due to major Rahi activity. But do they put up a sign saying, "Stay out"? Yes, actually they do. In my defense, it was dark and I didn't see it. Figures. Now, Shaft E is much like other mine shafts, except due to years of Rahi adding to the tunnel network, it's more of a maze than most shafts. As I entered the labyrinth, I began to think, hey, maybe this isn't the right way, but apparently I'm stubborn or like being Rahi bones, so I kept going. This is where the Kofo Jaga come in. Kofo Jaga like to swarm, and they tend to act as a single creature instead of a bunch of disgusting, nasty, fiery scorpions. So after a few steps into Shaft E, I hear chittering and almost the sound of ocean waves. Turning around just on the edge of the reach of my lightstone, there was a swirling wave of charging Kofo Jaga, and they looked hungry. So I did what any sane Matoran would do. I ran deeper into the tunnels. I went for what seemed like hours, left, right, up, down, so many different tunnels with no way of retracing my steps. I had lost the Kofo Jaga, though I did get stung a few times. But in the process, I had gotten myself lost as well. Now, the rest of my tale may seem bizarre to some of you listening. I'm not expecting half of you to actually believe me. But I must say this. There are strange things in the deep and dark places of the world. Forgotten and mysterious things, many full of regret, anger, and sadness. I came to a large room, probably a natural cave, judging by the random shape of it. There seemed to be some kind of ore lining the walls, perhaps protodermis, and it glinted in the glow of my lightstone. Or so I thought. But as I lowered my lightstone, I noticed that the cave had another light source. A small fire was the light near the far wall. Baffled by the thought of the fire down in such a place, it wasn't until I was right next to it that I noticed her. A Matoran sat beside the fire. What she used for fuel, I could not tell as it was unrecognizable now. What was odd was the size of this Matoran. Though she sat, she must have stood a quarter bio taller than any Matoran on this island. She wore an ancient-styled komau, colored dark blue with silver faded into it. She wore on her back a device of some sort with a strange-looking throwing disc inside. She acknowledged me, with eyes as old as this cave, filled with grief at the sight of me. Matoran, she said slowly, as if she had never said the word before. I was worried. How long had she been down here, I thought. Yes, I am a Matoran. My name is Valik, I told her. She turned her head to one side, seeming to take in all the words I said. But she said nothing. Who are you? What are you doing down here, I asked. She turned towards the fire and made a small, unsettling growling noise, almost like a wounded Nuaka cat. Sister. Beast. Spider. Trapped. Shadows. Me. Alone. She looked up at the ceiling and let loose a howl, a perfect animalistic howl that shook me to the very core. This Matoran did not seem okay, but she looked down at me with sympathetic eyes. You. Lost? Still shooken up by the terrifying display of Rahiness, I replied cautiously, Yes, I am. Can you help me? She seemed to ponder this. Her eyes almost seemed to change color in the dwindling fire. She stood up, towering over me. Will help you. Koro. With that, she began to lead me out of the cave, though honestly, I had my hand on the hilt of my sword the whole time. What surprised me the most was the lack of anything bad happening after that. The entire tunnel system was quiet except for the distant pinging of water droplets. At one point, there was some kind of subterranean rahi, but it saw my guide and scampered off, clearly afraid of her. She remained quiet the extent of our journey, even though I tried to ask her who she really was. We had last reached the tunnel that led to Koro. I was so relieved and about to head off when I noticed her stay at the tunnel entrance. Aren't you coming? I asked her. She stared at me, slightly fearful. Matoran. Not yet. Valek. She turned back into the tunnel, and before my very eyes turned into an unrecognizable rahi and ran off at lightning speeds. That image will haunt me forever. This is Valek, signing out. Thank you, Valek, for your report. And thank you to the visitor. Especially with the announcement that's coming shortly, any help is really appreciated at a time like this. Next is, Puhi's report. Greetings once again from the Pokoro Tower. This is Puhi with another report. My friends have gotten better from the sickness transmitted by Akmu's comets. Thank Mata Nui. But I don't think they'll touch a Koli ball in a while. This week, I bring good news. Much needed, Puhi. After the epidemic, another Matoran has joined our ranks, a young builder from the village. Plus, we have gotten word other Koros are also organizing defense groups for the towers. On our part, we've been moving and sculpting stones to create a small wall around the tower. We had to stop for a while after a Nuijaga attack. The large blue creature must have heard the noise of our tools against the rock and went for an attack. Catching us by surprise, we fought back with whatever tools were at hand, which varied between rocks and my old hammer. We surrounded it and threw rocks until one of the masks fell off. At that point, it got angrier, and using its being distracted to our advantage, I used the hammer to smack off the other mask. That's been all this week. This is Puhi saying goodbye from the Pokoro Tower. Thank you, Puhi. Now, as to the news. I know we usually have our show earlier in the week, but Turaga Wanua has asked me to wait a bit so that the news that I must relay would come out around the same time that the Turaga from the other Koros relayed the news as well. It's happening. It's properly really happening. The face-off with the Makuta. Look, the Toa are making their way to the Kini Nui as we speak, armed with wisdom and power to face against the greatest of evils we have known. Of course, the Makuta will probably send his greatest forces as soon as they begin their descent. And that's where we come in. The Turaga have asked Akua to assemble a company of Matoran, from each Koro to accompany him and hold off against the Rahi forces sure to arrive. I will mention their names now because if they succeed, they will become greater heroes than before. And if they don't... So the Chronicler's company is composed of Kapura from Ta-Koro, Maku from Ga-Koro, Tamaru from Le-Koro, Kapiki from Kokoro, Hafu from Pokoro, and Taipu from Onokoro. Our friends, our colleagues, they are heading off to the epicenter of the battle as we speak. But we still have work to do. Makuta will no doubt use this chance to target the unguarded Koros, thinking with our Toa and Chronicler's company gone, we will be weakened. So it is our job to prove the Makuta wrong and to live for another day. So here are the instructions. For Le-Koro, the Gakko force is asked to start priming its steeds and weapons. For the remainder of the Matoran, prepare your discs and other weapons. You will be our eyes in the sky. For Ga-Koro, Tarakawa will be your main threat. The Ga-Koro guard is instructed to start setting up sharpened bamboo perimeters and stand on duty at all hours. Prepare nets of flax now, as well as emergency huts to be submerged in case of a larger attack. Those Gamatoran who can sail and trade begin providing material to other Koros. The seas will be safeguarded thanks to your efforts. For Le-Koro, the guard is asked to start sending instructions to those Matoran and other Koros who cannot easily access news. All to copy are asked to serve in this task. The remainder of Matoran are to prepare their discs and any Koli balls that can be used as weapons. To the transmission relay system guard of Le-Koro, your call on whether to stay by the relay system or go back to the Karo. Either way, thank you for everything. Le-Koro, the strength of your kicks will repel the most fearsome of Rahi. Matoran, Jala should have instructions for you all. The aforementioned Matoran are to transport extra weapons to other Koros in need. As soon as they leave Karo, lower the stone bridge and prepare for the fight. May the lava burn your purpose bright. Le-Koro is asked to use the snow and icy drifts to their advantage. Disappear within them as best as possible while relying on whichever members of the Sanctum Guard can be spared to lookout duty. You will weather whatever obstacles are presented. Le-Koro, the Usulry is asked to stand prime and ready to spring into action. All other Matoran are to have weapons ready and... Sorry, it's just, it's actually happening.
Palan,
We're all packed up?
everything is ready. But we have to go. Now.
Alright. Yes, part of the emergency, of the broadcast is that Nuparu and I feel it is our obligation to keep you all updated on the battle. So we're actually going to be transmitting live, so next time you hear from us, we'll be at Nui. Stay vigilant until then and be prepared for, whatever comes next, I guess.
Palan.
Yeah, sorry. We're trying out Nuparu's new device to get me to move. Comfy. Also like the wheels on the side. Okay, so, I guess it's up to all of us now to save an island. This is Palan reporting, from Le-Koro. I hope we all make it out safe.